My name is Sabiha Khan and this is my story. So I was born in Lahore, Pakistan, which is one of the oldest cities in the world. My father was in the military, so we moved from base to base. So I've never lived in any place more than 3 to 4 years as a child growing up. And every time we would move, we would cry and cry and cry our hearts out, and then we would love the next place more than the place that we left behind. So this is what I tell everybody: don't be afraid to move, because you'll make more friends and you'll find better places to live in. We lived in mansions. My dad lived in a mansion, my grandfather lived in a mansion. We had chauffeurs and cooks and assistant cooks and servants and servant quarters and a 12-man guard guarding our house in uniform and armed, patrolling the general's residence, because my dad became a general. That's what my life was growing up as a childhood. I thought that the world was, that every person who walked on this earth was awesome and amazing, because in Pakistan there is a class system, and in Pakistan there is a thing called status, and when you belong to the upper elite status, everybody is around you and is nice to you. Thinking back, I do think that phase of my life, I was naive enough to think how nice everybody was to me, and I thought that's how it is. I loved everybody back just like they loved me, even though that they may not have been genuine about it, but I was too young to pick on that. So I just thought everybody is so nice, because I think that helped me become such a nice person in return, because I thought that's the norm, that's how one should be very nice to everyone. And that's, as an educator, as a teacher, that's what I think. If every kid in school is treated nice, that's how they will probably turn out to be. So I honestly didn't think too much about what I wanted to be when I was, some people know exactly what they want to be when they're little. I wasn't like that. It wasn't until I went to the university is when I had a professor who was awesome. I was so impressed by him, and I loved being in his class and loved to listen to every word that he had to say, is when I decided that I'm going to be a teacher. So it was a teacher who inspired me to be a teacher. I think what I saw in him was the passion for the subject and the passion for teaching, and his emotions that he had put into his teaching. He was very passionate about it, and he knew his subject, and he loved the subject, and he delivered it in the best way possible. I'm an activist. I've been an activist. I would go to rallies in Pakistan as a college student, as a university student. We got tear gassed, and women's march in Pakistan. I would be at every rally. I don't know, I think it's in you. I don't know if somebody told me one day, or I decided one day this is what I'm going to do with my life. It's just that you somehow you have that epiphany, and you do what inspires you. And that's something that's always excites me and energizes me. And I took a group of students to Spain. This was, I think, 2011, and there was a protest in Spain. Once we got there, the first day we were going to the Prado Museum, was on our itinerary. And right outside the Prado Museum was the big strike that was happening. And they were there's other teachers from other schools who combine with us to go on these trips. So I asked these 2 teachers from California, they're all public school teachers from the United States. I said, I want to join the strike. Can you take care of my students? And she said, absolutely. So while they went into the Prado, I walked with those the strikers for some time, and it was great. That's something in me. I just believe in those things. I'm a Muslim, and I'm a practicing Muslim, and I believe, in the Quran there's a verse that says, enjoin the good, I'm just paraphrasing, enjoin the good and reject the bad or reject the evil. Even if you do good, which is the size of a mustard seed, if you do that much good, it does make a difference. I substituted for a couple, 2-3 years, and then this job came open at Kamaikan High School, and I took it. And I've taught there for 30 years. I just retired. I love teaching, because it's every day is a new day for you. It's not the same. It's not the same kids. It's not the same lesson. It's not the same environment. It's not the same events that are happening around you, because I taught current world issues, and I taught American government, and I taught US history. So I started out in special ed, and there's always a para-educator in the classroom, or your assistant in special ed classes, and I would be standing in front of the class teaching. I'm in front of the class, I'm teaching, I'm writing on the board, or I'm addressing the student, and some office person will come, or some student will come in, and they will walk right past me and go to my para-ed who was sitting in the small desk in the corner, thinking that they were the teacher, and I don't know what they thought I was, but to them, a brown person, a female who with an accent can't be the teacher, right? That's implicit bias. It was like I have come from being a first-class citizen of a third-class country to being a third-class citizen of a first-class country. And so, as an educator, I feel that it is extremely important to change the narrative and have a firm commitment to change the narrative and include everyone who lives in the society, whether it's schools or your city or town or community, it should be all inclusive of everybody. And we would do a lot better. After all, we breathe the same air, we live in the same space, we have the same ideas. We all want safety and security and a good life and a good health. It's the same thing. My big main project recently, since last October, has been to work with the Afghan refugees. So I'm their Santa Claus. For everything that they need, they call me. So there's always common ground to do good things if people set their minds to doing it. It's extremely important that people get to know other places, meet with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, who speak different languages, have different customs, because that opens up their worldview. It's a classroom without walls is what we call it. That's what breaks down the barriers, and that's what creates understanding, and that's what creates empathy. And I think empathy has to be part of every curriculum. Because without empathy, you just have this mindset of us and them. And to break that us and them mentality, the best way to do it is through traveling and seeing people and getting to know them and see that sometimes some of the things that other people do is better than us. Or we do certain things that we can teach them how to do. So, my guiding light has been, there's a famous poet from the subcontinent of India and Pakistan, Allama Iqbal. His name is Iqbal. He says that if you are passionate enough, and if you have that intensity of desire to do something with a lot of passion, then whatever you want to do will come face to face with you. And at that point, you only have to walk 2 steps towards it, towards your goal, and that goal will walk 2 steps towards you. It will meet you halfway. And that has been my motto for my life. And I have lived it and I have experienced it, and I totally believe in it because it has happened every single time. And the reason why I'm in it and why I do this and I do this well is because I'm extremely passionate about what I do. And when I have the passion and I have the will, and when my heart is in the right place, every single time my goal or my destination has walked towards me. I've never had to walk the entire mile to get to it. You know, if you do good, it multiplies. Or even if you do a little good, God will shine light on it.